Welcome back to the Open Book Podcast. Today we have a special treat. I am sitting in the hot seat. My family will be questioning me, interviewing me with questions I've never seen, never heard of, so I am a bit nervous. I hope you like this show. This is my son, Austin. This is my daughter, Maya. We have Isabel and my husband, Eddie. So we're gonna jump right into it, and we're going to go for the questions. Make sure they're not too hard and to make sure they don't make me cry.
All right. So first question is, growing up with a dad as a professional athlete, how was that watching it live compared to on TV and being on the huge platform that he was on?
I think because I was so young at that time, I really didn't realize that he was a superstar or a super athlete until I got older, like in my teen years. Then I actually realized I didn't really understand the depth of his, who he was. And I also don't remember going to too many fights. I remember sitting in the audience with my grandpa and Auntie Brenda and basically watching him and actually feeling like weird, like scared, kind of, sort of, but I was only 3, so I didn't know what was going on. But as I got older and watching it on TV, because he didn't want us going there to see him. I think it was maybe he couldn't concentrate, or he was not going to be as focused. But as I was watching it on TV, I just felt proud of him. And as I got older, even now, so I understand what he did to feed us, to put food on the table, with his no limits and his legacy that he left us. I'm proud of him. Good question.
My question is, what advice would you give your younger self now that you've experienced more things?
I would say to my younger self to be more kind to myself, to be more loving to myself, to take more opportunities, to listen to your parent, to
Not take life as granted?
Not give myself limitations, to enjoy the things that are even hard to enjoy at the moment, and just to make sure that I treat everybody, even if it's a negative encounter, to treat them with knowing that they might return back in your life later on. So my younger self, I was so toxic to my own self. I was so toxic to my own self because I had I was probably really rough around the edges. And so if I could, like I said, if I could tell myself something when I was younger, I would say to just love myself even more and believe in myself more. Good question.
We also have a question from a viewer. She asked, what are the most rewarding things about getting older? Since it is your birthday episode.
It's my birthday tomorrow and I'm turning 21. So let's see, what do I enjoy with each year that passes? I would say my knowledge, my wisdom for life, my wisdom every day, evolution. Evolution is a big thing, and I think that the older I get, the wiser I get, the calmer I get, as you guys can see that, and just to take it easy and go for it. Go for whatever you want to do. Take a chance and do it.
Okay, since most of the questions focused on your past, I want to ask a question about the future. So I know that in the next 5 years, how do you see yourself, or where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, that's a hard one because there's so many things that I want to do with my life still. I think I want to continue to build the Beehive and help more of my community here, and also travel the world. I would like to go to Japan. I would like to visit the Philippines. I would like to build my brand by helping more of people in Hawaii, and continue to be in my children's habitat, which is my preschool.
Okay, so I have another question.
Oh,
If you could forgive someone, who would you forgive?
easy. Myself. I would forgive myself for being so brutal to myself. I was hard on myself being a parent, being a teen mom. I was hard on myself finishing school. I was hard on myself making sure that I was like the perfect mother when I had all four of them, to make sure I had everything cooked at a certain time, everything. But that was on me because I came from a family who was not too structured. I wanted to make sure everything was structured. Now at 5 o'clock, if dinner's not ready, I'm like, oh, what are you guys cooking for dinner? because I have evolved as a person, as a mother. It's like I said, it's evolution. I don't ever judge myself. But that also comes from judging people. I think when I was younger, I did judge people. We don't realize we're doing it, and I did do it. And then you judge yourself. I never should have put any judgment on myself, because I am who I am, and I've turned out to be who I am, and I love who I am. So that's who I would forgive, myself.
What was the biggest regret in your life?
Probably not going to school 100%. Not being focused on my studies, not putting the best foot forward. I was very preoccupied with other things. This house, you guys know that school is a priority. Priority in even after you graduate. If you're not going to go to school, what's your plan? And that's the thing that I feel like I regret putting more effort into succeeding with that. That's my only regret, because I am who I am, and I don't regret anything that I've ever done. And I'm very open with you guys. You guys know that. I tell you guys everything, even bad things that have happened. I think that teaches you guys what to do, what not to do, or even to look at me like I'm not the immaculate mother. I am who I am. So I have kind of like no regrets. I would be the only one.
Growing up in Hawaii, obviously, how difficult was it to leave Hawaii, and how did you know leaving Hawaii was the best thing for you?
Oh, moving here, you mean
Yes.
to move here? Very difficult, because I left behind my siblings and my dad. And, I had 3 young babies, 3 young children to bring with me on this journey. So that's the part that it was tugging at me, because I had to remove you guys also from your foundation with your dad. So it was like very, that I think I was not fully aware of what was going to happen when I got here, and I was so scared, and it was so difficult, but I would not trade it in for the world, because Hawaii is a very beautiful place, and everybody asks why we leave Hawaii. Why would we ever leave Hawaii? It's because we were working so hard to maintain. We were working so hard to survive there, and I wanted to make sure that you guys have more options in life here. And with careers, we were thinking outside of the box, and outside of being uncomfortable. We like to be uncomfortable. Eddie and I already knew what we had planned, and we didn't live unrealistically when we got here. So we lived in an area that wasn't the best area. We drove around 1 car only. I walked you guys to school. I always had a car back then. I never, before we came here, I drove you guys to school. I did it. I drove to work. Well, when we moved here, I didn't drive. I walked you guys, and it was winter. Do you remember? It was winter, and we were like, what did we get ourselves into? But sacrifices, being realistic on what we can afford, being honest, like we asked for help. We asked Auntie Brenda to help us move here. So I think it was a good move for anybody that has the right mindset.
The death of your father, how did you deal with that, and you flying him up here, to live with us here in Vegas, and taking care of him and doing all that when death came around, and how did you cope with that, and how did you know that your brothers would be okay and that we would be okay? And I just want to know, how did you cope with it yourself as well?
Ooh, that is going to bring tears, that one. Most of you guys know, most of our viewers know who he is or who he was. But if you don't know, he was a champion boxer. And he lived a very crazy, spontaneous life. And he had gotten into a really bad accident, a brutal attack. So we had to bring him here because he was brain damaged. And so he spent the last years of his life here with us. We did not, as a family, know how to take care of him. He was like a person that he didn't know his name. He really didn't know anything. So we knew what was coming. And so we knew that the last couple years of his life, we would have to pull together as a family and take care of him. Death is inevitable. His death hit us, rocked me to like the core. Mourning him will never probably go away because I think about him all the time. But what we do, we live through him. And so it's something that we continue to deal with as a family because he died in our home. We all took care of him, his siblings, all of us. We sacrificed. It's so sacrificial when you're caring for somebody, especially your parent. So sacrifice was a big thing. So even that, I say now, I'm so grateful that I had the chance and opportunity to take care of him. Whoa, you just did it. Let me catch a break.
Okay, my next question is...
No tear jerkers, guys.
Well, my next question is, you're the founder of the Beehive.
Yes.
Why did you start the Beehive? Why you like to help people? And also with your family, how do you balance the Beehive work and your family? And how does your family play a part or play a role in the Beehive?
All right. So how did I start the Beehive? How did it come about? The Beehive was start actually in this house. With you guys. As you can remember, we would pack up, the police department would give you a gift card for your family during Thanksgiving. And we would always say, let's give it back to the community. So we would, I don't know if you guys know this, but the sandwiches and the bags that you guys were making came from a gift card because we felt like we didn't need that extra. Let's give it back to the community. So it started there. But it also comes from a part of healing because he lost his dad. I lost my dad. So what are we going to do? We can't sit and mourn every day of our lives. So let's make something more of it. So we basically bought food from the gift card and we started to feed the community. And that's how the Beehive started. And everyone asked, what are you guys doing? Where are you guys going? How do you guys make those sandwiches? Where do you guys go to take the sandwiches? And then it went from, can we join you guys? And then all of our aunts started doing it and our uncles started doing it. So we would go on our own and start creating this little group of ours, the little hive of ours. And then more friends joined in and we started doing more things, making blankets for patients with all of the kids. And we just realize that this is healing and this is helping and this brings hope to whatever you're doing, whatever you're feeling at that time. It helps you to heal because it helped us. And it's also teaching you guys a life lesson to never take nothing for granted because you guys remember we used to go and give the bags and you would come home in tears majority of the time. And, it taught you guys empathy. And compassion, and I feel that there's so many people out there that need an outlet and need a way to give back, and they just don't know where to start. So the Beehive came about, and now we have a full organization that you're a part of. The balance with my family and the Beehive and work and everything that comes into play is being able to know when to give this enough time, when to give my family enough time, when to give myself enough time. I will never put someone else's needs before my family. So family is always first, but there's a but. And a lot of people don't realize that there's a but. You must know that your needs also is important, and the needs of others also. So if I am not being my best and just putting all my eggs in one basket and not separating my eggs, how am I helping myself or my community? How am I doing that? So I make sure that balance is key. Balance has always been a key for me in the last 5 years, mostly because you guys are getting older. So I don't need to really tend to you that much.
I have a question about when you found out you were going to be a teen mom. Like, what were your first thoughts when you saw that positive like pregnancy test? Like, what did you first think? Like,
gosh, I was scared. I was very scared. I did not know who I was gonna tell first, and then I was thinking, how am I gonna take care of this child when I am a child myself? And I knew I was a child. And I'm glad that I had the support actually from Mama to help me, to teach me and to guide me. That is one scary situation that a lot of girls don't know which way to turn next, what are they gonna do? And they always think that, the choices are limited when it's really not. So yeah, it was tough. It was a tough time being a teen mom. That fired me though. That was my fuel.
You growing up in Hawaii with a specific culture and food and environment, and then you met someone from a different culture, and then you moved to Las Vegas where there's many different cultures, like a even bigger melting pot. How is your family and you adapted and kind of figure out how to kind of put yourself in those different cultures? How do you deal with that?
I was shell-shocked when I first moved here. Different type of thinking, even with different cultures. I'm still learning. You're Hispanic, I'm from Hawaii, the mix of Asian and all this stuff. And even now till today, I feel like you and I both have cultural differences, and we kind of bump heads on it, but we bend for each other. And our kids are mixed. So with them, I feel like maybe they don't even know what are they more of, like, or how. I know they feel more comfortable being Asian, because I've heard it from them before, and I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, but I feel like sometimes you guys feel like because I don't speak Spanish, and then you feel uncomfortable because you can't speak Spanish. So there's some mistakes we've made with our culture as well, and not teaching them, I think, your language. Or
being raised the only boy in the family, obviously, I was raised only boy.
Okay.
So obviously, being raised, I knew how to treat women. Being respectful and all that. If you were to say something to your daughters for advice to look for in a guy, what advice would you give them?
That's a good question. I will tell them to look for the qualities of their dad.
Which are?
Hardworking, honest. They are comfortable and secure with themselves, because if they're comfortable and secure with themselves, then their insecurities will not be thrown on them. And everything's a learning experience. So, don't rush into finding or marrying just the first guy you're with, or thinking that it is okay to accept behaviors that are negative behaviors, because you have to be aware of the red flags, and you have your whole life ahead of you, so don't rush things. But always look for traits of your dad. That's what I would say.
Okay, since this is called the open book,
Ooh.
can you open your book of your experiences and give advice to maybe someone that in a situation that they might find themselves deep in a hole and cannot get out of that hole? What can you advise them?
Funny to say, I had wrote some things down. I wanted to just read it out to end this podcast. I wanted to, let you know that you will end up in places that you don't understand or situations you can't control, but don't give up. Don't give up, because it's not forever and things will get better. You just have to run towards it and not away from it. Conquer it, overcome it, and you'll see the light at the end. Situation is never going to be what you think it's going to be at that time. Things change, things move, people evolve. So always remember the people that help you. Don't forget that at the end of the day. Always be kind, love your family, have empathy, give back to the community. Even if you have one piece, you can cut that one piece and you can give it to someone else. Don't let anyone steal your sunshine. Girls, boys, don't let anybody steal your sunshine. Life is a gift from God. Give, accept, be humble, and only you are in control of your life. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast with my kids and my husband.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Open Book. I think we've had enough questions for her. Scratch the surface a little bit. If you guys want to see more, go ahead and check the channel out, subscribe, give this video a like, and we'll see you guys on the next one.